so I can make him fly also.
Charlotte Soccer Show. Woo! John Hayes, Danny Brams. We've got a special guest here. We're at HopFly. It's match day, Danny Brams. It's great to see you, as always, on match day. We got those Dean Smith vibes going. Before we get into those shades, what those, do you know that the wheel shades that he was wearing in Coachella? Those are good shades, dude. Those are great shades.
Brams is at the wheel, baby.
Yeah, are you feeling yourself today, Danny?
I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling the Explorer kit. I got some new kicks that match the Explorer kit.
Yeah,
you can come meet me in person if you want to see.
He's feeling himself today. There's no
I
doubt
feel
about
fresh.
it.
You know that Outcast song? Ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh, so clean.
So
That's how I feel right now.
100%.
Yeah.
We have another DB here with us. He's a special guest from the Full-Time Roundup podcast, covering everything European soccer. Daniel Brackets is with us today on the show. Cheers, you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us pregame here at HopFly.
Happy to be here. It's a great party over here. Great weather, too. The sun's coming out as we
Here
press
comes
play,
the
so you can't ask for much more.
Brackets, he's got some good shades on as well. There's no doubt about that. Do I have to put my shades
I
on?
think you should get your shades on,
Yes,
for sure.
I have to go shades on. All
Right. Shades on.
So here's what we're doing today, right? We're going to preview this match. We're going to talk about things. It's a massive match tonight. You've got arguably one of the best teams in MLS, maybe the best team in MLS. If you saw our match preview earlier this week with Ross Smith of Apple TV, he told us, he said, I got a problem for you boys. Columbus is pretty damn good, and Darlington Nagbe is cooking.
He said, you can't win, Rock. Rocky 3 for the people, Hey, I think we can.
I think we can, too.
What do you think?
I'm optimistic because at the end of the day, no matter where the squad is at, I believe in Dean Smith and his game plan. And every match I can come in optimistic that we'll at least grab a point. But when it comes to the MLS, the parity is key. And when you're at home, you should win games. And that's why I think we should have the edge tonight.
You know how it's always like a horrible thing when you like think of a burn like too late? You're like, oh, if I just would have thought of the burn in that moment, it would have been perfect. It's like the perfect burn. I just thought of it too late. So we were talking to Ross Smith on the preview episode, which, stay tuned to the channel. You'll see it. Make sure you like and subscribe while you're watching this video, and you'll be doing us a huge favor. Talking to Ross Smith, and he said, well, Wilfred Nancy, he's the Pep Guardiola of MLS. I said, well, that doesn't matter. We got the Dean Smith of MLS.
Wait, time out. I thought Christian Latanzio was the Pep Guardiola of MLS.
He's the...
I don't have a good comp for him.
I ran out of ideas 20 minutes ago. But I just want to say that we can do this because we're at the freaking fortress, baby.
Yes, we are.
Protect the fortress, defend the king.
It's 15 out of 16 for Charlotte FC, getting either a draw or a win at home. Only one loss in the last 16 at home for this club. So as you're going into this match today, whether you're driving into the city right now, whether you're hanging out at home, whether you're down at the supporters tailgate, or whether you're upstairs here at HopFly, which, by the way, HopFly is always
I think I just got someone from the street. I gave him the signal, and he goes, "Okay," and he just walked in right behind us. You saw it happen.
Absolutely. We've got our friends back here as well, hanging out here on the
karaoke crew. What's up, karaoke crew? Let's go.
Got some great kids over there as well.
Yeah.
Brand Retro Soccer.
Here at the
we just got a kid myself. So
what'd you buy?
Bastian Schweinsteiger, Bayern Munich.
MLS legend.
I'm going to
MLS
Germany
legend.
in the
Chicago
summer.
Fire legend Bastian Schweinsteiger.
The kit was beautiful. It's the white and red stripe.
Yes.
I said that's going to look great in Germany in June, and I just had to get it.
That happens to me every time I go to Rare Retro. I'm like, I'll just look around. I'm not going to buy anything. And then I see one. I'm like, I have to have this. Yeah. That gets me every time. That's what Rare and Retro specializes in. That's why we partner with them.
I want to give a huge shout out to one of the best T-Phones, also the host of the Queen's Pitch podcast, Bridget McCall. She's chiming in the comments, Danny. She says, let's get these 3 points, guys.
I want them. I want 3.
And I want to start there, right? I think one thing I want to talk about tonight, specifically heading into this match.
I guess we have a match. Yeah.
Is
we're a party, and we forgot there's a match.
In order to get 3 points, how can Dean Smith be creative with the lineup, right? So let's just set the stage. We've got Kerwin Vargas, who is questionable. He's dealing with an ankle injury. We've got Enzo Capetti. He's got a tight hamstring. He's probably not playing this evening as well. Liel Abada not available. Jari Yrinen as well. Somebody who is listed as questionable, played for the Finnish national team.
He comes in as a sub. Well, he didn't play. That's the deal. He didn't play.
Well, whether he played or not.
Long flight.
Yeah, whether he played or not. It was
They were
a busy
playing in
week.
Wales.
He was not in training this week for Charlotte FC is my point.
Like mathematically, the earliest Jari could have been here was like Friday at 2 a.m. If he, I don't even know his flight schedule. That's if he like left from the stadium to the airport. So you know he didn't train on Friday, so he's a sub at best today for me. But I'm glad to see him on the questionable list, not the out list.
So all of those players, people that Dean Smith has counted on, right? So that's the first question I'm going to ask on this show tonight. How can Dean Smith get creative with this lineup?
Brackets.
The youth.
Yes.
The youth.
The kids are all right.
The kids are doing great, and you've talked about on the show a ton with the Crown Legacy promoting from within. They had the same stylistic play, and obviously the gaffer came in the summer, so it's been a little bit of a mix-up. But we've seen Yuri Tavares ball out. We've seen João Pedro in preseason ball out. Maybe we could see him in the starting X side today.
Well, that's interesting.
I've got a predicted 11. It's a little out there if you want to hear it.
Well, I want it to be creative. And let me say this, right, is because João Pedro, that's the first time I've really thought about him potentially being in the lineup tonight. And I think that's a really good call out, especially with Yrinen out. Pedro is somebody that can play in a left back position, right? He can play left back. Nathan Byrne can play on the right back. That's not a bad idea for this club tonight.
And why I'm thinking that is because when you're playing a team like Columbus with Wilfried Nancy, they have a lot of the ball. So I think we're going to play, a very packed in back line. And obviously, João Pedro is probably better defensively than going up top. So if Dino wants to not park the bus, if you will, but sit back and let Columbus have the ball, I think João Pedro would be better than having a Jalen Lindsey who's better going forward.
I love Jalen Lindsey. He should play Jalen every game, but here's how I know João Pedro is their starting left back tonight, folks. He started a left back for the Legacy. That was the key. That was the hint. That was the indicator.
That
was the indicator. That was the tip.
And he had such a great performance at Crown Legacy. Is this in the U.S. Open Cup or against Carolina Core?
I mean against Carolina Core last Sunday.
Yeah, he played so well that could only draw Carolina Core in their first game of all time. One thing I'm concerned about, right? I don't think the Legacy is very good this year.
They're not.
And because of that.
Compared to last year.
Of course. Because I just don't. We saw João Pedro in Coachella, Danny.
Yeah.
We saw him in the preseason. I don't need to see him play with Crown Legacy to know that he's got a chance to play tonight.
But the reason I call that the tip-off is because he's a left-back, center-back hybrid. And so the fact they put him out there for 90 minutes last Sunday at left-back tells me that they're preparing him to play left back tonight because they knew Jari was going to be gone the whole time.
Okay.
It's not a surprise, and so that's why I'm looking that far back.
Now you're landing the plane. I understand. I understand.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Like, y'all do what you want to do, but I promise you, João Pedro is the starting left back tonight. If you need to text somebody, if you need to check in with a fan officer, find out. But I mean, I'm already here telling you an hour before it comes official.
Okay, so that's the first answer to this question. Can Dean Smith get creative? I think putting João Pedro at the left back is creative.
Sure.
What else can Dean Smith do?
So here is what I predict as starting midfield. You guys tell me. I think starting midfield is Diani, Westwood, Urso. Extremely defensive. We can talk about right wing in a minute where we think Diagra fits there, but I think Diagra moves out of the midfield one way or the other tonight.
Right.
I think the Diani, Westwood, Urso midfield looked really nice last week in the second half. The final 30 minutes against Nashville, we controlled things and prevented chances. He basically made that switch right after Alex Muil had that great chance that he should have scored that went just wide. And Dean's like, okay, I got to get a winger out of there and bring in Urso. And I think against Columbus, against the defending champs, against Cucho Hernandez, you start with that same very defensive midfield that looked pretty good, and then we're going to decide about right wing in a minute. But what do you think, Brackets?
I couldn't agree more. What I'm looking forward to
I got one right,
folks.
I got one right.
What I'm really looking forward to is the Diani versus DJ matchup.
And by DJ, you're talking about Derek Jones.
Derek Jones. As an ex-player, he's going to have something to prove tonight. Hasn't gotten too many minutes for Columbus this year. This is his chance, the ball.
Did you see the Columbus's match day, like, hey, it's match day tweet.
And
had picture of
and
Derek
he
Jones
had
on
him
the
in Derek
drive.
Jones. This is the biggest matchup. This
Right.
was his
You
replacement.
know Derek is starting tonight.
Going against him. There's been a ton of people have, comped them in a way. So they're going to be wanting to get the best of it. And I'm gonna.
Mr. Jones and me.
I hope Derek Jones does not have it
staring
going
at
on
the
tonight
black lights.
for that. Just for the reference there from the song you
I
used to sing.
mean, it's tough too because if you get Derek Jones and Nagby out there, that's two guys that do not give the ball away.
Ball retention
That's
at its
ball
finest.
retention at its max, yeah. But we got Diani, who may grow into one of the best ball retaining midfielders in MLS as well.
And that's my second question of the show is Junior Urso a good option tonight in the midfield? You both have him in your midfield starting 11.
Because he knows Columbus. He knows the league. He knows these guys. He knows what Rossi's going to try to do. He knows what
So Urso is playing in place of a Breck Diagre in the midfield?
And then Diagre is an option for the right wing, but I have what I think is a better option for the right wing, and I'm gonna leave it to you, Johnny. I'm teeing you up on this because I stole this idea from you, and I want to hear you put it out there to the people.
Is it Nimfasha Berkimas on the right wing?
From the start?
Yes.
In the 11?
In the 11.
I'd love to see it.
Is Nympha making his full debut tonight? That's, I think,
I
for
hope
me,
so.
Potentially one of the biggest questions tonight. It's
got to be.
a Nympha Berkimas full debut.
I hope so.
I want to see it, right? Because you're going up against one of the most difficult teams in MLS, and you're already feeling like an underdog in this match. You're at home. The vibes are good. What better place?
And the sun's coming out.
Here
It's the sun.
Here comes the sun.
Oh my God! It just got really sunny out here, folks.
Wow.
If you were sitting at home waiting for the signal to leave the house and come downtown,
Get
it
over
just
here.
happened.
Get on over
exactly.
Yeah, shout out to the Rev. Burl is here. Paige is here as well. Hanging out here.
What's up, Kate? How you doing?
On the deck at HopFly.
I'm harassing people as they walk by on the sidewalk to come to HopFly. Sorry for the interruption.
Listen, so this is what I think is so important to discuss when it comes to Nympha Berkimas and the fact that is he now 17 years old?
I think he just turned 17.
Just turned 17 years old.
Right.
This obviously would be a
He's
massive
only
moment for him.
17.
So
I think we canceled that song.
One thing that we talked about, I think, throughout this entire offseason and with Dean Smith specifically at Danny Ethy's press conference, we talked about how Dean Smith was not afraid to give a full debut to a young player.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Woo! Exactly right. That's what Dean has said. So for me, when you're dealing with injuries on the wing, when you don't have Leo Abada here yet, because when Leo Abada comes here, the opportunity for Nympho to get into the 11 is going to be really difficult. So
Right.
if you're the manager and you want to see it,
I like where your head's at.
I agree. But you also mentioned how Columbus is, the best team in MLS, arguably. So are you gonna risk his development, throwing him in there against the best team in MLS? Full debut as a 17-year-old
Here's why I think
at
that's
home?
okay. Here's why I think that's okay. A, it's at home, like
I'm
you
just
said.
playing
B,
devil's advocate here.
B, he only fits in that lineup I described earlier, which is Diani, Urso, Westwood midfield, because the whole point is we're going to say, all right, Columbus, we know you're good. We know you got your shit together. We're going to turtle. We're going to park the bus, and we're going to kick it out on the counters. And if we're putting A behind the ball and hitting balls over the top to counterattackers, I want Nympha there instead of Breck.
I could agree. I mean, Nympha's a freak athlete. At 17, it's wild how he's
we're
developed.
scoring tonight, we're scoring on the counter.
Breck Diagra
sure
is not that sprinter. He's more of a creative, get him on the ball and let him cook. But he is not a sprint kind of guy.
Breck is the only player on our team who has an assist in 2024. So I'm not talking trash on Breck, but I'm just going to say
good stat.
Well, I got I'm not just a pretty face, Danny. What can I say? I'm not just this body. What can I say?
Do us a favor as you're watching the show. Make sure you drop us some comments. Want to hear your score predictions for tonight. Everybody who's been in the comments, anybody who's been watching this stream long enough to see the Danny Cam earlier in the show, you're the real Tifos. You're the real tremendous fans of the show. We appreciate you. We're here at HopFly. HopFly is the presenting sponsor of Charlotte Soccer Show. You can always find us here on match day. You can find us tailgating here. Our friends ran Retro Soccer. Appreciate everybody.
Come on into HopFly, y'all. We got people walking on the street. Come on in.
Here. Beautiful day. What a beautiful day.
Next question I have for you guys, right? When we're talking about the midfield, when we're talking about Breck Diagre, when we're talking about Nympha Berkimas, who obviously is on the right wing, talking about Junior Urso, my question for you guys is, Do you think that Scott Arfield can go another full 90? Based on the midfield selection that you've already made, the answer is no. But you have to remember, Scotty Arfield is somebody that started this last match.
I could be wrong, for sure. I feel like I'm pretty – the one thing the hill I'm going to die on is João Pedro starts at left back tonight.
Okay.
Everything else is speculative for me. So Arfield could start in the midfield. Arfield could start on a wing. Arfield could start on a false nine, and Arfield could be on the bench. Who fucking knows? But I just think
Ajman's not going to be on the bench.
I hope not. I pray not, but I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's how up in the air it is. That's
Well,
I'm just saying.
I disagree at the striker position because there's only one on the team right
Well,
now.
I'm just saying Arfield has a lot of places he could go, is all I'm saying. Arfield was the player who came out to meet the media this week, midweek. I don't know, that doesn't really mean much, but it means something. I mean, I think Arfield's in the plans one way or the other.
I agree he's in the plans, but can he go 2 full 90s in back-to-back weeks?
He goes 55 maximum. So if he starts, he gets an early sub in the second half, or he comes on early in the second half. But I just don't think he has the legs to do 2 full 90s. Even 60-plus is asking a lot at his age. And, I mean, he put in a shift against Nashville, no doubt about it.
He was fantastic. Absolutely was
I thought he
fantastic.
took his chance, too. So I could see Dean Smith rewarding him and having, like, an Urso and Westwood or Diani Westwood in front of him. But it really depends on how he wants to set up and what Dean's vibes are when it comes to right wing and then how he wants his midfield, because he's going to want to counter. So do you want to have an attacking midfielder at least there to start that counter attack? I just don't know.
So one question I had was the Diago. Last week he was like, Brecht, he said, Brecht, I want you to be coming off the bench. I want you to be my spark off the bench in the second half. And then Kerwin gets hurt. Brecht has to come in the first half. It sort of messes up the whole plan. Is that something Dino's going to go back to and say, I'll start Arfield on the right wing, and I want to see Brecht as a sub? Is that something he's going to stick with?
I say no.
Okay.
And the reason why is because the right wing position, in my opinion, involves a lot more running than the number 10.
Right, yeah, I agree.
So if you just wait a full 90,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to want to start at right wing the next week. I think Arfield is much better suited in this match to come off the bench.
I agree, and what he did really well against Nashville is he found those little pockets of space all over the field. So with those tired legs, your mind starts to go a little bit. You're not as locked into the match, especially playing away from home. You bring Arfield on, he picks up the pockets of space, you find him, he turns, and then he finds Pat running down the side on the diagonal, and that's how he scored.
Absolutely right, and Arfield is somebody as well. He does one thing that I think this club is really missing. What Ben Bender does incredibly well is make late runs into the box. Scotty Arfield, late in this match, coming off the bench, if we need a goal, if Charlotte FC needs a goal, he's somebody that can make a late run into the box, get off a shot, and score a goal, as well as assist to somebody like that.
Bender has not played in like 12, 13, 14 months, and he still leads the team in franchise history for great runs that nobody passed him the ball to. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy makes insane off the ball runs, and no one ever paid him off the first couple of seasons.
So as we're talking about Brecht, that was the other question that I had. Where does he fit into the 11? So for me specifically, it's either Nympha or Brecht on the right wing.
I completely agree.
That's the competition at right wing to start tonight.
Because I want to see that Urso, Diani, Westwood midfield. We may not see it, but that's what I want to see.
I could agree, especially after the injury with Vargas. I think it's either Arfield or Urso who's fighting for that number 10 spot. So it's definitely, I think Brecht will start. I think Pregame.
I think it's more of a 4-3-3 with 2 8s. I don't think there is a 10. That's what I think.
You think so?
I think it's Diani and Urso as 8s with Westwood as a 6 behind them. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could definitely see that.
And then I think it's Patrick Stryker. And then I think the reason that he went after we brought Urso in for the final 35 minutes against Nashville, what that did was our fullbacks pushed way up higher and were the de facto wingers. Byrne was way up all second half. Ure was, that tells me that maybe Jalen Lindsay might be a better option than João Pedro if that's the strategy. But I still think, sadly enough, this is my theory, and we can talk about this more in the coming weeks. If Dean liked Jalen would have already played by now. I got to
do a quick shout out.
Do a shout out.
I got to do a quick shout out to Latin Fire, who's always hanging out.
The best.
And
Latin Fire is one of our best live stream viewers of all time.
He says play Brecht and Pat together up top.
Whoa,
That could be interesting.
hello.
I always want to give a shout out to Corey as well, who says, "Can y'all turn the chant off?" Yeah, that's my bad. We definitely had the
We had to chant the whole time.
No, we definitely had the volume was low though. The volume was low. He comes in.
I got to put something up if you don't mind. Brecht and Pat up top together.
4-4-2. That's
Little 4-4-2. Maybe a little 4-4-2.
Yeah, maybe a little 4-4-2.
We'll take it all the way back. Why not?
Why not? And honestly, I gotta say, I've been thinking about a 4-4-2 this week a lot, right? Because if you are going to play a low block, if you're going to sit back, if you're going to invite pressure, a 4-4 is really nice.
Yeah.
It gives you those 8 players behind the ball,
Right.
and you can play 2 up top. So let's talk about this Roy Kent 4-4-2.
Right. And now that we got the chanting off, people actually pay attention to what we're saying. It's beautiful.
No, the chanting was low. That's
You
where
guys
the
coming to
volume was low.
HopFly? Are you guys coming to HopFly? Come on in. Nah,
Yeah.
we tried.
When I think of Roy Kent, I just don't play to me, play through me. And I think that Brecht Yagra could be, the false 9, and then Pat's knocked down to Brecht, and then we go from there. I could see that happening today. And I mean, our defensive formation is around a 4-4-2. So
Yes.
we play we go from a 4-2-3-1 in
I'll be right
attack
back, y'all.
to a
I'm gonna get
4-4-2. So I don't know. I could see that.
Yeah, it's a good call with the 4-4-2 for sure. Danny Bram's is clearly going to go get a beer, and we're going to replace him with a much better voice, and that is Rachel Hayes here on
Hello.
Charlie
Hey, Rachel.
Show. Hey,
How
How you
Rachel, what's
doing?
going on?
Good to see you.
Good. Happy to be here. God, the sun came out. I didn't even bring my sunglasses, so I was like,
And the sun came out about 10 minutes ago.
Is she Scott Arfield power sub?
It feels
Coming
that
in?
way. It feels-
Go grab a goal.
I know, Danny. I know one thing that is certain: that Danny Rams cannot go the full 90. Okay? Okay, that's one thing I know for sure. And so Rachel's coming in hot off the bench and hang out with you. Rachel, so tonight, right, you're thinking about this match. Did you know that Charlotte FC is going up against the best team in MLS tonight?
I did not know that.
Knowing that now, does that change your expectations for this evening?
No, for the crown baby.
Yeah, for the
There we
crowd,
go.
baby. Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's how you feeling about the match today?
Very excited.
Danny Bram's
Really
put a
looking
microphone
forward
on
to
your
it.
in your hand live on the show, so it's time to
Hey.
bring it. You're filling big shoes.
Well, I'm really excited that we're back at home. It's been a while, so
It's been a long
looking
time.
forward to that at baseline. Ready for the party.
The party's great. Yeah.
And the sun, as we started press record, I mean the sun came out. You couldn't ask for better weather. It's gonna be mid 50s during the match. I expect the crowd to come out ready to support after 3 weeks.
Let's talk about the
hiatus.
crowd.
I think
Let's
it's gonna
talk
be
about the
loud.
crowd. That's a good call. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the crowd right now, right? Is
The people
Is-
are ready.
what type of impact? It's been a month since this team has been at home, and all of a sudden they're going up against one of the best teams in MLS. And I mentioned it off the top of the show that Charlotte FC, I think the unbeaten run at home is at 12 matches right now, and I think they haven't lost a match in 15 of 16 matches. So let's just focus on that number 12 number. It's clearly because of the fans. This has turned into a fortress. There's no doubt about it that the home field advantage for Charlotte FC is real. Are the fans going to show up tonight? There's a lot of basketball games uptown. There's 2 huge basketball games: North Carolina versus Michigan State, and then Tennessee versus Texas. Uptown is absolutely buzzing right now. Is the Keep going to be packed tonight? Are we going to get 30,000 fans? What do you expect?
I think we should. I mean, I've never seen a game not have 25 at least plus.
Right.
So, I mean, especially with a 3-week hiatus from
I
home,
agree.
I expect the fans to show out. I mean, like you say, Charlotte is a soccer city at the end of the day. So even if a basketball game is being played here, I don't think that's going to change a thing. I think that's just going to make the city even more vibrant for the match.
Yeah, if it had maybe been raining still and the weather was iffy, but now that the sun is out, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day, and like you said, the fact that we haven't been at home in 3 weeks, people are ready. They're ready to be back in the stadium. They're ready for the party. They're ready
I'm a little
to see the
concerned.
guys
I'm
at
not going to
home.
lie. I'm a little concerned.
You are?
I'm not sure that the crowd is going to be great tonight.
Even if,
Especially because the sun just came out a few minutes ago and it's 5:30. So if you're one of those people who were 50-50 on coming to the match tonight,
You have plenty of time.
theoretically, yes, but you've probably already made your decision by 5 o'clock.
that's fair. But there was no rain on the forecast. I think
That's right.
rain is a deterrent. Clouds don't deter anybody to anything. I
Right.
think if it was raining, that'd be concerning. But it doesn't matter about the number. It matters. The noise is what matters. And no matter how many fans we have, the stadium is always loud. I expect that they're going to be ready to back us against Columbus. Like, this is a huge match for us, and especially when Charlotte FC needs the fans to come out tonight. And this, I don't know if they really promoted it
Speak
that
to
much.
the camera, Danny, because honestly, you talk to the fans, right? It's like Charlotte fans need to show up tonight, right?
They do.
Like, we're
they
looking
do.
right at
we
you.
need you guys. We need you.
Yes.
So please come out.
Yes, and we've got a great crew here as well, hanging out on the patio here out front at HopFly. It's turned into an absolutely gorgeous early evening.
Getting the sunny
in Charlotte.
D here.
We're
It's
here
awesome.
in South End, obviously Charlotte Soccer Show, presented by HopFly Brewing Company as well. What else you got, Rachel? Any other thoughts on the match tonight?
Let's see. I don't know if I have like specific thoughts other than I'm expecting at least one goal.
One goal.
I need to see
Which
at least
which side?
one. I mean, from Charlotte, obviously.
Yeah,
All right,
one
who's your
goal
goal
for Charlotte.
scorer?
Ooh. Arfield?
Yeah, Arfield.
Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty. And that's something we talked about earlier, right? I think, and that's, when you think about Arfield as a super sub, for me specifically, that's what he brings, right? I have zero interest in Scotty Arfield as anything else besides a goal scorer, right? If you're Dean Smith, if you're in that changing room and you're looking around your roster and you're like, who can score a fucking goal, right? It's Scott Arfield can score a goal. Not many other guys on this squad can do it.
He has the CV. I mean, he played at Rangers. He played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's played all over the place. Like, he's the guy who has the most experience on the entire roster. So you'd hope he'd step up when we need it the most. And we haven't seen him do it that much in a Charlotte FC kit. But, I mean, there's always the time is now at all times. So, or you could see Breck Diagra. He got a nice goal last week. He got an assist the weekend before. I mean, could he keep this little roll he's on and get another goal or assist tonight? I hope so. A lot of your interviews, they've poured cold water on Brecht, and I mean, I feel like he's answered the critics in a way. So I'm hoping he does it again tonight.
So let's talk about this, because I think this is one of the more interesting storylines tonight. We really didn't dive into it specifically. Is Derek Jones. Derek Jones has got to go on. He's making his return tonight. He plays for Columbus, former Charlotte FC player. He's probably, as this club grows and as this club moves on from players, some of the things that you're going to start to figure out and start to see is former players playing against this club. Derek Jones is a bit of an ace in the deck for Wilfred Nancy tonight. Derek Jones knows this team very well. Even though that he didn't play for Dean Smith, he's somebody that looks at Adilson Malanda, he looks at Andrew Privet, and says, here's how you beat those two center backs.
Scouting reports out, for sure.
Yes. Does that concern you at all?
I mean, combined with Derek Jones's knowledge and then Wilfred Nancy, probably the best coach in the entire league, if not Dean Smith. I mean, they compared last week's match with Columbus against the New York Red Bulls coach as, Jurgen Klopp versus Pep Guardiola. I think they were really sleeping on Dean Smith as a manager. This could be, another top 3 coach matchup here with Charlotte FC. Wilfred Nancy has the better squad, but, Dean Smith seems to have, like you said, an ace in his deck ready to play at all times. And then we've been outperforming our squad, in my opinion. So I think we could see that again. And I'm very optimistic for how this match could go.
Yeah. I mean, Rachel, as far as Derek Jones is concerned, what do you think his impact for Columbus tonight will be? A player that used to play for Charlotte that will probably get the start.
I feel like he's going to feel some pressure, right? He's like here in the city where he used to be a part of the team. And as we just decided, even though you're, maybe not agreeing with us, the crowd is going to be there. Y'all are going to be there.
Absolutely.
And I think he's going to feel the pressure.
Well, it depends. It depends about pressure, right? I think he'll feel pressure to perform. He's not going to feel pressure from the crowd because
bad blood.
Been there.
Yeah, bad blood.
There's no bad blood. Yeah. When he walks out onto the pitch in the 11, he's going to look around and say, I've done this many, many times before. I'm not nervous tonight. But I think he will be nervous to perform for his teammates in his own locker room now, because there's going to be a lot of guys on Columbus tonight who are looking at DJ to say, hey, you're going to play in the middle tonight. You're right next to Darlington Nagbe, a player that we haven't talked about a lot. Darlington Nagbe is absolutely special for Columbus. Right now, he's having an unbelievable run at 36, 37 years old at this point for Darlington Nagbe, one of the greatest. In my opinion, I think for the United States men's national team, Darlington Nagbe put in his time. He's somebody that I remember really well in that squad. So for me, I'm concerned. I mean, I'm starting to think about it from that point of view. I'm concerned, and somebody has to score goals for Charlotte tonight.
Yeah, and what a time it would be for Pat. Like he was so dangerous against Nashville, just couldn't get a break. I mean, from the referees to just being able to, he had that nice header that went wide. I think, Pat knows that Copetti is coming back, and he needs to make his impact now while he has the chance. And Dean's relying on him, and so are we. So I really would love a Pat goal. Call Pat. Like, I would love to see that today, and the fans to go nuts.
For sure. That would be really fun.
So, Rachel, before we let you go, what's your score prediction for this evening? Don't be a homer.
I'm predicting a 2-1 Charlotte win.
2-1 Charlotte win.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here
first.
first.
Let's go. Let's
go.
go.
The first official prediction on Charlotte Soccer Show tonight is 2-1. Charlotte FC over Columbus Crew. Wouldn't be the first time that we beat Columbus Crew at home in the stadium. So that we've got that going for us.
That's one thing, I guess.
Cheers, Rachel. Thanks so much for joining
Thank
the
you,
show.
Rachel.
5-0. 5-0.
Danny's back.
5-0, huh?
I don't know. Everybody wants Rachel back already. All the commenters already want right now. Just kidding.
What do you got there, Danny?
I went with the hazy IPA to close it out. I'm about to walk over to the stadium shortly after. We're getting hyped here. The sun is finally out. It's a beautiful day. It's about to be an amazing night for soccer in the city. And I figured I'd get the highest ABV I could find here on the board here for the final drink of the HopFly experience.
Nice.
Before I head over to the stadium.
Do you think this is going to be a very, open match, or very,
No.
very the opposite, right?
This is us parking the bus, I really think. I think Dean Smith is pragmatic enough. He knows enough about taking Aston Villa to go play Manchester City to know, I mean, you just park the bus and try to hit him on the counter.
I respect that comparison, but I find it to be a little bit egregious just because Columbus Crew is not Manchester City, not even close to Manchester City.
Well, we're not exactly Aston Villa either.
Well, neither is Columbus Crew for that matter, right? I just think that at some point, I think that
I'm with you.
I've heard excuses all season. The idea of respecting the opponent is fine.
Sure.
But in my opinion, I mean, a loss tonight, 3 losses in a row is a huge problem for this manager.
It is.
Early in the season.
A 3-game losing streak for Dino changes a lot of the narrative around this club, 100%.
That's why he has to go for it.
But I will say, and the other thing I'll say is, well, I don't know if you talked about it with when Rachel was here, but Columbus has got a backup goalkeeper and a backup defensive
I was
mid.
waiting for you to come back.
So the idea that they're facing a backup goalkeeper, we got to score. Like, I'll be disappointed if we're not like trying our chances. What did Arfield say this middle of the week at his media ability? He said courage. I said, if you're a Wizard of Oz fan, the Cowardly Lion, courage. He said, he gives the speech at the end about courage, and that's what's in my mind is what makes the muskrat guard his musk. Courage. So I want to see some courage tonight. I want to see all the guys out there being brave and just firing shots. There were some spots where we fired balls at Joe Willis and he bobbled them. And now we're facing a backup, a guy, Evan Bush, who's has never been a starter in this league. He's a career backup, and we got to put some shots on this guy.
Oh, Danny, you're speaking my language now. I mean, if we cannot beat a backup goalkeeper tonight
at home,
who is going to be absolutely berated by comments from the keep
right
as he's playing in them, then we've got a problem.
And you know what could be the key?
What?
Set pieces.
Yes, finally.
Set pieces.
I thought about this
corners, free kicks.
Yes.
Westwood serving in. I mean, you have Malanda. You're gonna have Big Pat starting. I mean, these guys are tall. Have an aerial dominance. Even Yuri Tavares in the first game had a nice flick-on header for a goal. That might be the difference in this match is the set piece.
Okay, so
I think Privet might get one on.
Hearing you say that, I'm going to do a quick promo real quick because that's why you listen to Full-Time Roundup Podcast. Co-host Daniel Brackett here hanging out with us on Charlotte Soccer Show. Cheers to you. Fantastic work that you do on that show covering European soccer. And that's the type of insight you get when you listen to Full-Time Roundup. It's a great show. It's a show that we love, that we listen to regularly as well. Danny Brams and I specifically focus really, really closely on Charlotte FC. But you and I both, Danny, we love European football. We do.
I'm a bi-weekly listener of Full-Time Roundup.
So it's good to see you. It's great for you to be here tonight. And we're going to wrap things up, okay? Because I know that you're going to walk down to the stadium. And I'm going to be hanging out here at HopFly for at least another hour or so, but we're going to cut the live stream. We've been live here for a while. We appreciate everybody who's watching.
To the millions around the world who've been watching, we salute you.
So as we wrap things up, right, I think it's time to get real.
Oh, wait, Reaper. The Reaper's here. We can't wrap up before we get the Reaper. Get over here, Reaper. Get over here.
One of the super fans, the Carolina Reaper is here. We'll get him in the background of the show. Before we wrap up out of here, right? I think for me specifically, it's time to get real. The
I just
Reaper's
spilled
here.
over myself.
You
I'm
know
good.
what?
I'm good. Thank you. Get over here, Reaper.
What's the prediction for tonight's match?
1-1 Charlotte Columbus.
Who do you think scores first, Charlotte or Columbus?
Columbus.
Columbus, early goal, maybe first half goal.
And
My
we
man.
fight back.
And we fight back. Okay. And we fight back. I respect that. I think that probably sounds like the game flow that makes the most sense. Better team scores the first goal. Crowd lifts up the home team.
We
got to
go for it, you know?
We need a goal, then we equalize. I think 1-1's a smart prediction. What about you, Danny?
3-0 Charlotte.
3-0 Charlotte. Danny, if you've seen Danny's prediction so far, it's not going to be 3-0 tonight. I can promise that after that prediction.
My prediction, 2-1 Charlotte.
2-1
Charlotte. We
The
got
Reaper says 2-1 Charlotte.
That's 2-1 twice. Reaper, what's with? That's a goalkeeper kit that you've got going on there. Yeah. Okay.
Is that Chituru Adunze over there, or
Yeah,
is that the Reaper?
Yeah, the Reaper's got there. He's got his. That's a sweet goalkeeping kit. Nice
You look
job,
good, man.
Reaper.
You look amazing.
Congratulations. You look
look
amazing.
great.
Thank you
Thanks.
for all your support of all Charlotte sports, amigo. This guy shows up everywhere. That's why I had to call him over here.
So Danny's got 3-0. Reaper's got 2-1. Brackets has 1-1. I feel like my predictions have been pretty good this season as far as being realistic.
Yep.
Danny, and 3-0 is not a realistic prediction, but I'll let you have it anyway on the show tonight. For me specifically,
I'm drinking the hazy IPA.
I think that I'm with you. I think 1-1
I think a point's good.
is a really, really
point is
nice
great
prediction tonight. I think that's realistic. I think that can happen. But that being said, the way Charlotte does get to a 3-0, I think maybe a 2-1 or a 3-1 Charlotte is possible. And the way that happens is only one. There's only one way that happens,
Tell me.
and it's Patrick Ajamong. Woo! It's really that simple. Right? I mean, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about Pat on the show because there's no questions to ask about Pat. He's the number 9. He's playing striker, and he's the guy that needs to score the goals. Patrick
I'm
Ajamong.
coming. I don't know what they want from me, but Patrick Ajamong is gonna score fucking 3. Woo!
All right, with
Let's
that,
go.
it's the Charlotte Soccer Show. John Hayes, Daniel Brackett. Pleasure for you to be here on the show tonight.
Thanks for having
Special
me.
guest, Danny Rams. Tell us about what you're doing for the rest of the night.
I'm headed to VIP, baby. We're gonna be watching up close.
Can we keep that
Up
Danny
close and
Cam
personal.
up to the VIP?
Yeah, how do we get Danny Cam down to the vault tonight?
Someone follow him with the
We're gonna
camera,
work on it.
please.
I'm gonna walk over there and just hold out a sign that says "Put me in the vault" and see what happens.
Thanks so much to our friends at HopFly for hosting us today for this tailgate party. If you haven't gotten to HopFly yet, you still have some time because Ran Retro Soccer is here.
Thanks to Rachel.
The Sunshine Shop is here. Thank you so much, Rachel Hayes, obviously, for being a special guest on the show today. And we got time for one parting shot. But we've made our predictions. One parting shot.
Derek Jones is gonna fucking feel the pain, baby. Let's go.
See you next time. Appreciate everybody being here. Enjoy the match tonight. We'll be live tomorrow at HopFly at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you join us for the match recap show. Until then,
For the
support
crown, baby.
baby.